this might be the missing piece for you. Most coaching programs just coach, and that I don't believe is going to cut it anymore, and I don't think it is enough. Coaches who are just providing strategy are really doing a disservice. That's not the entire piece of the puzzle. The biggest challenge I see right now that is not happening is actually helping and supporting people to get the shit done. Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Biz Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Oh my goodness. I have just completed an incredible 4 days with our students live in person for the first time ever at our annual biz event. And that is absolutely my win and personal update for today's episode. We had such an incredible time. I don't even know if I can explain just how powerful these 3 days were for the people in the room. I mean, I've got some of the things here that were written down in the document that we created in terms of what people walked away with and what they got out of the event, and just reading these has blown me away. So we spent 3 days intensively in person, going through everything from mindset shifts to building out offers and lead magnets and getting things done in their business, and then working through automation and really updating their identity to really step into that business owner who acts as if they are that CEO of a million or multi-million-dollar business. And the moves that were made were just huge. So some of them that I would love to share is that we had one guy who made $36,000 from just selling a 12-month offer in the last 12 months of working with us. And then on the day, or on the 3 days during the event, we had people who finally niched down and are super confident on their new direction and were really clueless before they came in. We've had someone who created a simple model to scale, and then we reverse engineered literally all of the numbers that they need to get there in terms of not just client numbers, but we include churn. We looked at leads, sales, conversion rate, everything. And so now it's literally just hitting those numbers and using marketing sales strategies to get there, and then retention strategies as well. And we went through all of that. And then the mindset shifts that gave one of our students the power and the confidence to go all in on her ideal niche. Now, she had been sort of dabbling and thinking about this in the background, but avoiding it because of fear that maybe she wasn't, capable of being able to make this work. And for her to walk away from this weekend and go I can fucking do this, and just have just this unstoppable level of confidence of you know what, even though there are so many things and personal things in her life going on right now, she's I've fucking got this. And I have goosebumps always talking about this because it's just so fucking powerful, and I cannot wait for the next event that we put on for our students who are inside our Biz Academy. Today, though, I wanted to talk to you about why coaching and courses are just not going to cut it anymore, and this concept called the power hour. So firstly, let's dive into why coaching and courses, I feel like they sort of rode this wave. 2020 was really big for coaching and courses. And if you were in the online space, which I was when that happened, or if you got into it shortly afterwards, we kind of rode this wave of there was a lot of money coming into the economy, and people were willing to pay for it, and online coaching just sort of exploded. And you'll know what I mean if you were there back then. And now everyone is trying to jump online and be a business coach or do some sort of coaching. And if you're listening to this, you're probably a coach in some capacity as well and wanting to go online. And I absolutely do not blame you. And I also think that there is so much power in being able to serve people from wherever you are, not only just for you, for your financial freedom and your location and time freedom, but also for the clients that you serve. We work with clients with our rehab business who live in remote areas who don't have access to this stuff normally, but now they get access to really high caliber coaches because of the coaches who have, gotten out of their way and gone online. But the problem is that most coaching programs just coach, and that I don't believe is going to cut it anymore. And I don't think it is enough, because we don't need more Zoom calls. We don't need more passive learning. We don't need more theory or, like just down, like work, not even workbooks. I think they're supportive, but what am I trying to say? Like more courses or more things to watch, or, adding just so much more to your to-do list that's already probably overflowing with things that you could, should, maybe want to be doing, right? And I think that the challenge is that coaching or mentoring can be really fucking powerful. And there's definitely an element of that is absolutely needed. Like on the weekend, just the amount of time that we're able to spend diving into the challenges and giving personalized support and feedback and having me on tap to tweak things and edit things and provide strategy that is relevant to them at their stage of career, understanding the fact that, I've been a coach on the gym floor. I've been a coach in person. I am a coach online. I know what it looks like, and I have seen so many coaches go through this before. So I do think that personalized coaching and support in those moments is really powerful. I also think it's really fucking powerful when it comes to the mindset side of things, in terms of helping support people, not just to, okay, here's the strategy, off you go, but when they get stuck, or when they're feeling a little bit of resistance or nervousness, or they're not sure, it can be a really supportive thing. And I think that coaching is so, so powerful to just accelerate people's results. But I don't think it should stop there. And I think a lot of people have seen that coaching in the online space seems from the outside to look like a piece of cake. And people are like, oh, I just do like a Zoom call and it'll be fun. I'll just like talk about what I know, or I'll put some videos up. But I just don't think that's going to cut it anymore. Like AI is here to stay, and people don't need more information. We know this, but what they do need is other things to help them move further, faster, more efficiently, and in a direction that is positive and towards where they want to go. Yeah. The other things that I don't think is going to cut it, and we will talk later about like the power hour, what that looks like, or the concept of these powerful moments that can catapult you without just the coaching or course components. But I also think it's important to firstly mention the other things that are no longer working in the coaching industry or no longer in isolation. And those are things like all these different like YouTube videos, or even if it's just videos that you create, or Loom videos, or screen sharing, and when you're explaining things, I think that's really helpful when it comes to like the tangible technical stuff. But transformations and true like transformational change is not going to come just from watching and absorbing this stuff and not having that ability to have someone support you, to work with you to get it done in a way that serves you. I also see a lot of gaps in business coaching programs in particular, where coaches are giving out pretty good ideas and there is no follow through. This is the problem, right? Like we sit in these, I was saying this on the weekend, we sit in these Zoom calls and we circle jerk each other off talking about like how great our ideas are. But then when have you scheduled in your week to go and implement these strategies? Or like, are you actually getting support to get this shit done? And what happens when the rubber hits the road and you go to implement something, or you're doing something technical, or you're using technology and it breaks, or it doesn't work the way you wanted it to, or you do the offer and no, you don't get any bites of the cherry. And where do you go then? And so I think that there's so much power in, yes, absolutely having strategy, having great ideas, having someone further ahead of you in the direction that you want to go supporting you. But if that's all it is, and it's like, here, you should do this idea and do this and do this and do this, it's like, I feel like that's that's not it anymore. And that's not the entire piece of the puzzle. I think reflection is really helpful for that. But then I think that really what we as business coaches and then coaches who are coaching their clients need to be doing is helping people actually get shit done and helping them through the thick of it. I think that coaches in the gym with their clients are doing this already really fucking well because they are paying you for accountability as part of what they pay you for, right? Yes, you have a program, yes, you have these other things, but they are rocking up at a certain time and you are doing it with them. You're not just talking about the concepts and principles of exercise and go and do it by yourself. So that's why it's really powerful. And side note, but I think relevant, I think that, we're going to really squeeze out the lower end of coaching in the industry, particularly when it comes to working with clients, potentially in person and things like that. And the reason that I believe this to be true is that now you can just get a program online, right? ChatGPT can write you a program. You can put in all your specifications and no, it will not give you personalizations on things that you don't know. And when I've tried to do this with certain things in terms of like investing strategies and things like that, it's like there's still things that I know better than it, or it doesn't take into account, or it forgets, or it's not looking at the whole picture. And I do still think that great coaches are way fucking better than some random program. However, AI is only getting better and better. So these coaches who are just trying to do online programs, I just don't see there being like something that is, a highly valuable, high paid option for coaching programs anymore. Just with in terms of like, here's a package program, go away and do it. I think we absolutely need to be having not only the conversations to help support people in the mindset shifts, but helping them to do it faster, more effectively, or like do it with them or even for them. Yeah. So obviously when it comes to exercise, you can't necessarily make them exercise and do it for them and give them the results. But what you can do is you can do it with them. Yeah. So you're actually there with them, supporting them at the time. And that's why when we did online coaching initially with the exercise, the Swift Movement Academy, when we were doing that, we were like live with them. So someone would be, like halfway across the world and I would be Zoom calling them while they were in their gym and doing it at the same time. And I think that was something that was a little bit unique because most of the time when you get a program, it's like you have to figure out all your own accountability, do it yourself, get to the gym yourself, as opposed to having like an appointment or schedule booked in to help get shit done. Yeah. So what is the power hour and why does it work so well? The thing is that we can and need to reflect, talk about strategy, talk about what's going to work, direction. But then when it comes to the nitty-gritty of getting it done, that's when you probably also need support, right? Like it's not just what do I do, but when you get to the actual doing, there are going to be little questions or tweaks or things that you want to review along the way. So for example, when we were over the weekend going through a lead nurture sequence, yes, we had a specific chatbot that I'd created, a Swift bot that was helping them do this. However, I was still sitting there next to them being like, let me review it. I'd tweak that. I'd say this differently. And so I was, with all the knowledge I have and the speed that we get from the assistance of ChatGPT and then implementing the strategies I know that work on top of the bot that I've created based on that individual person and their strengths and what I think they should play to, not just a general bot for everyone. And it is, it is hard to create a bot for every individual person. And so for me to be able to review that, it just makes the process faster and more efficient. But then it could be something to integrate tech. And it's like, well, what system works best or what do you use? And so integrating those as well and how to set that up and make sure it runs smoothly is also a huge, huge help in something like a power hour where it's not just at some time to, hey, like go and do your own thing, but it's like, what are you going to implement? What are you going to get done? It's an accountability call where you're actually rocking up to implement something. And if you don't know what that is, we have questions that I run through to help support you to figure that out so that you can get it done. And then it's like, let's screen share together. So I'm basically as if we're doing it virtually, we're screen sharing. If we're in person, I'm obviously looking at it, being like, hey, do this differently. I would change that, tweak that. Or they come to me with questions being like, can you review it? As opposed to just this this lag time, I guess, that happens in traditional coaching models where someone provides a question and then the answer might be delayed, and then it's just not as quick to bounce those ideas off, but also therefore the momentum slows down, yeah, or even comes to a halt in those sorts of things. So these powerful power hours really, really help to actually create momentum and get shit done, especially on things that people are like nervous about. So we had someone the other day and I was like, cool, you need to call the leads, like literally right now, like jump on mute. We're on a group call and I said, jump on mute and call the leads. And that is when the rubber hit the road, right? Because we can talk about that all day, but I was like, do it now. And then that's when all of the, the emotional, the mindset stuff came up, and there was nervousness and there was all these things. And it was like, okay, but you're here to learn. You're here to be held accountable. You're not here for, someone to say, oh, it's okay if you don't call the leads, like everything will be fine. It's like, well, no, you're here to run a business and you're here to help people. And so if someone's put their hand up and say, I want your help, then you have an obligation to serve them if you've decided that that's what you're going to do. And if you don't, I feel like you're not only leaving money on the table, which sucks for you, but you're leaving results on the table for them. And that also sucks for them. So this power hour is really like almost a bit of a pressure cooker of like, bring the shit that you're struggling with or you haven't done, or you're like, oh, fuck, I keep putting that off. I know it's important. It'd save me 4 hours if I did it, but I just haven't done it yet. And maybe it's because you don't fully understand how to get it done, or you don't understand how it works for your business. Or some other examples we have is we have like financial trackers and spreadsheets, and some people in their early days may not fully understand what numbers and where to find these in their business, so we can work through them in real time and help support them and go, this is how you calculate, or this is where you would find that number, plug this in here, and then we have a look and we can review to reverse engineer their data, which is pretty cool. The other thing we know is that we need this implementation, right? Like no one is immune to having moments where they're like, oh, I don't want to do it. Or, like it's easier if, you stop work early, or you get to a bit and it just gets hard and then something else happens and then excuses come up, or we procrastinate. And that is because we are avoiding an emotion. This was spoken about in the podcast episode with Jess Cameron, where procrastination is because of an emotion that you're avoiding. And so if you're avoiding calling the leads, as an example, then that's probably because there's a potential fear of rejection or fear of failure that you have, and you're avoiding feeling those things. You're avoiding feeling like you're not worthy, perhaps, because if someone rejects you, that could bring up feelings for you that I'm not worthy because they rejected me, as opposed to it meaning, it wasn't right for them, or maybe I need to work on my sales skills better, or maybe the offer wasn't good enough. Yeah. And looking at it from like a logistic, like data driven, as opposed to an emotional driven perspective. But that shit doesn't come up until you are in the thick of it, being like, let's go. Yeah. If you're, a personal trainer and you have, worked with a client before and they're really nervous about doing a certain exercise because the last time they did it, they were injured. Maybe you've worked through them to get to the point where they're back to that exercise. If they didn't have you there, they may not feel confident and comfortable to do that on their own. And so power hours, where it's like we get in, we put our heads down, we have a strategy, we have a plan of what we want to get done, and then we execute. And then any time that you get stuck, there is support on tap for you. It's honestly just been huge to bridge the gap from the knowledge and the strategy and turn it into action that is implemented. And so some of the things that this has looked like for some of our students over the weekend and in the calls we've done, I've obviously mentioned a couple, but then this looks like, let's build the funnel out, right? Because I can talk about the concept of a funnel, but everyone has different software and systems that they use. And so I can talk about the fact that step 1 should be this and step 2 should be this, and this needs to link to here. But when the rubber hits the road, they're like, I don't know what to do. And so we can walk through them and help them with that. Or we can, we've created lead magnets, and we've tweaked the titles of these, and we've tweaked what's included and how to get more leads to open the lead magnet rather than just chuck them on the list so they get a result. What should it include? And then really tweaking and then pressure checking with other people in the group to be like, well, if you're my ideal client, what would you like this? Would you say yes to this? And if not, that's not saying that you suck. That's feedback going, okay, well, maybe this is missing something and it's not hitting enough with that target market. So there's been so many results with having these like powerful, intensive moments, whether they're in person or through power hours, that I think that business coaches who are just providing strategy are really doing a disservice. I think it used to be okay back in the day, but really now people are not at a lack of information. They're Googling, they're getting ChatGPT to do lots of things for them. But then when it comes to actioning or implementing, that's where they get stuck. And it may be a technical skill that they're struggling with, or it may be like a mental block of like, I'm nervous, I don't want to, it doesn't feel good. And so we get to work through that. And I don't believe that that happens as effectively if it is without the I guess the live feedback, the real time, let's work through these things so we can move forward, rather than just going, oh, I'm not going to do it, or like, that was a great strategy but not for me. Yeah, so it really does create a pressure cooker in an incredible way. And yeah, so I guess this is really just to say that this might be the missing piece for you, and that if you have worked with a coach before, or maybe even you haven't, but you know that accountability is something that you struggle with, or there's more that you want to get done, or there's a huge to-do list, or you keep avoiding things, or even if you're just like, I need support, I need help to tweak and adjust and to get things right, then I recommend implementing a power hour. Now, you can do this by joining our Biz Academy program, and there'll be a link in the description as always for you to see if you're right for that and apply. But really, it's that accountability mixed with the strategy that I don't think you can get from just having a catch up or a co-work with your mates, right? Because it is someone who is really holding you to a high standard, but also almost like pushing you from behind lovingly, being like, let's move forward with this. And just the acceleration of how quickly things happen when you implement these intensive moments where you're either in person working and doing the do, not just talking about it and having a great old time. You're like, oh, that'd be a great strategy, but like, let's do it together, I think is really powerful. And more coaches, I'm hoping, are going to be leaning towards a model that includes this. This is not to say you don't need courses or community or, coaching elements. I think all of those things are absolutely important. And the biggest challenge I see right now that is not happening, as far as I'm aware, in most programs, is actually helping and supporting people to get the shit done. So if you feel like this is a missing piece, I encourage you to jump into the show notes and apply for our Biz Academy. We always have a limited number of spots for these because I work personally with every single person in the program through support and accountability and in our coaching calls as well. So I can't have infinite numbers of people, and I actually really love it that way. So yeah, I think having this accountability is powerful as fuck. I don't know why we didn't do it sooner, if I'm honest. And if you are struggling with this, or you want to see what it could look like, then I encourage you to reach out, send me a DM at Xenia Wood Official, and we can just have a chat and see if that would be right for you. And until next time, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.